What's up, everybody? I know that a lot of you have been drinking whiskey for like 27 years. Okay, there was that Heaven Hill product that came out 27 years, and people were just like, "Oh man, I've had that." They haven't had it.
They had the new make.
They had like the
White Dog.
The White Dog.
That's new make is also the same.
Well,
thing.
you know, it's all about the jargon. So what we've got here today is a little list.
We're doing a list.
We're doing a list, but it's not a list. It's not like top 5, whatever.
Well, I don't think you know what. Here's the problem with a lot of our videos.
I don't know what we're doing.
You don't know definitions of common words. This is still a list. It's just not a top list.
It's the top thing that we're doing right now. It is.
I know, but you just said it's not a top list.
Well,
so
it's
I agree
not.
With
Okay, what's up, guys? We're back with another list video, and it's not really a list, but it's a list. We're not going to tell you favorite bourbons. We're not going to tell you favorite ryes. We're not going to tell you favorite whiskeys because that's a big old list.
It's not listed.
It's not.
It's unlisted. It's like your phone number in the 90s. It's unlisted.
Okay, you're telling me right now that instead of saying not, I could have just said un? What's up, everybody? We're back with another list video, kind of, sort of, maybe. We're going to discuss what, Will, because you know it better than I do.
These are the top 5 mistakes new bourbon drinkers make.
All right, well, we talked about it after that little music break with the little picture that we always do with the growing logo thing. We got to figure that out. We're going to need a bigger one. We're going to need a better one. We're going to need like a 3D one, like a 3D movie. All right, guys, we're going to get into it. There's a lot of mistakes that new whiskey people make, new bourbon drinkers make.
Yeah.
I made one like last week, not last week. What? I got one. I'm going to show it to you in a second.
I'm going to tell you how I came up with this list.
Right.
I was like,
what mistakes is Grease still making?
What does Grease do? Write it down. Don't do these things.
Right.
The very first thing on this list is going into a liquor store. And it's overwhelming. You want to get into whiskey, right? And you go in and you're like, okay, I'm going to pick my whiskey based off of the packaging. So we know a lot of marketing dollars going to bourbon and whiskey. We know a lot of design goes into the labels. And there's a lot of beautiful bottles out there. But if you're picking your whiskey based off the label, it's like reading a book and saying, I pick this by the cover. It doesn't always do what's inside justice. And a lot of times it's masking something that's a subpar product by trying to make it look better. Grease does this all the time. Grease, I want you to show examples of what going into a liquor store and spending money on whiskey looks like when you're just doing it for the packaging.
Okay. Well, I don't even know what this says. Does that say bruschetta?
That is a appetizer at the Italian restaurant. Yeah, you're going in, you're getting some bruschetta. Yeah. So this is a bottle of whiskey. The bottle is great. It comes in a box. A lot of these whiskeys are going to come in a box.
I'm going to grab it.
It's
not yours. I made the poor decision.
It has a great distressed label. It has a Monopoly piece race car on top. Grease, I would argue, overpaid for this whiskey because of the packaging. Now, what's inside the bottle is 5-year whiskey. It's been made here in Tennessee. It's made by the company, which is actually unique for a lot of these type of things. A lot of times it's just source whiskey in a beautiful package.
Right.
But most of the time, if you're buying just off the box or the package alone, you're going to be overpaying instead of getting something that's quality just by knowing what you're looking for. And a lot of channels like ours, like ADHD Whiskey, the Bourbon Junkies, It's Bourbon Night, This Is My Bourbon Podcast. A lot of channels are out here to help discuss and tell you about whiskeys you can buy. But don't just walk in blindly and say, I'm going to buy based off the packaging because you're going to end up with something
like Basil Hayden's.
Right. But this one...
It's actually pretty good.
This one goes into the next one as well. So Basil Hayden's, a lot of times people buy because the packaging.
Right.
And they're also
it's got daggum like brass on it. Like you could sell that. it like a salvage
Well,
store.
it's copper, not brass, but there's a copper band. There's some nice like balsa wood here, some steel. It's got a label, a faux tax strip. This is actually a rye. I don't know why you have the Basil Hayden rye.
Well, because-
But so you look at something like this and it's like, oh, the packaging looks really good, but you're actually paying a premium for an 80 proof whiskey at this point. So just going in for the packaging alone is not the best way to do it.
Now, I will say this. My wife married me for the packaging. You know what I'm saying?
Nope. So the next one I'm going for is buying low proof only. And that actually goes back to the Basil Hayden issue. So bring that bottle back up.
I'll bring it back up. I didn't even know you were going to ask me to do that again.
So Basil Hayden, a lot of people gravitate to for a lot of reasons because of the packaging, but also because it's low proof. And so if you're a new whiskey drinker, sometimes you may think, I can't handle the higher proof stuff. I need to drink the lower proof. So you go for something 80 proof, 86 proof, 90 proof at tops, but you're staying away from things 100 plus because you think it's going to burn too much or you can't handle it yet.
Basil Hayden has that note that everybody either loves or hates. Smooth.
That's not a note, that's a descriptor of watered down whiskey.
Oh, that's just-
So that's part of the problem. When you buy a bottle of lower proof whiskey, a lot of times what you're paying for the most is water because they're taking something from the barrel and they're diluting it down and they're selling it to you. Now, if you're a new whiskey drinker, what's a better value? Get something like Russell's Reserve single barrel. It's 110 proof. Think of it more like a concentrate, less than a high proof whiskey. What you can do then is you can add your own water, add your own ice, use it as a mixer. You can play with the whiskey and learn about it and build your way up. Use a little bit less water, a little bit less ice the next time you drink it. But if you start...
I love that tip so daggum much.
Yeah.
Because when you think about a value pour... It's like, okay, what is the highest proof I can get for the lowest amount of money? Well, a lot of people are like, Basil Hayden's at $40 or 110 proof, which is 15% more for probably, I don't think it's that much more.
It's probably like $60. So
$60.
It's a little bit more, but not always. Like if you were to buy like the benchmark full proof, 125 proof, under the price of Basil Hayden's, you can play with that whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
But if you start off at 80, you're already at the floor.
Yeah.
You're already dropping it down.
Some
a lot
people
more.
say you can put it in a pot on a stove and dissolve the water out of it. So then you're left with alcohol. But
people that don't understand chemistry.
All right, well, what's our third thing? We're ready to go. We're like, this is hump day. We're at the third one.
Right. This is Wednesday. Right. Our Wednesday on the list is, so you walk in and you're like, okay, I want to get this because it's going to be great, but you could get a lot more quantity of really good stuff for a lower amount. One that really strikes me with this is something like Whistle Pig. It's a really good whiskey, but it's expensive for the 10-year for a beginner per se.
Yeah.
When you could get Old Grandad Bottled in Bond, you could get a Buffalo Trace, you could get a couple other things and have a variety to play off of, and then you're starting to build a collection or a bar or a different pours.
Then you won't have the. But you won't have the.
But you could find it later. You could get it later.
The Whistle Pig.
But just going in, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad whiskey like Whistle Pig. It's a good whiskey.
It's good.
But if you're going in and only thinking that because the dollar value is high, that I'm going to get something quality, and a lot of times it also may play into the packaging. That our first tip is that you're paying that higher premium for the packaging, not for the source whiskey inside, and you could be buying very similar whiskey for a lot lower price. The next one, and this one I have to give a little bit of a caveat because we know a lot of really good store owners. We know a lot of really good folks that work at stores. So this isn't a blanket statement, but this is something that can be a problem if you're a beginner and don't have a relationship with people at a store yet. And this is taking the advice blindly of a store clerk. Mm-hmm. So what I mean is that you walk in, someone approaches you, as they do, good customer service. Right. They say, what are you looking for? Can I help you? And you're like, I'm new to this whole whiskey thing. I want to look at something over here. Well, what do you like? They may ask, they may not. They may just be like, hey, this is good, and point to something. that if you take the bottle and go buy it and don't ask a follow-up question, then you're probably making a mistake. If you do say something like, oh, cool, can you tell me a little bit about it? Can you tell me what it's like or what it's comparable to? Things like that to see if they actually know, especially if you're in a big box store. A lot of times they may be told, hey, we're moving this item or we're moving this item, or they may not be. They just may be like, I'm just a helpful clerk and say, I've seen people buy that.
Yeah.
But if they're like, come back, but well, I really like the way that Four Roses has different recipes and different mash bills. And I think that if you like something that's a little bit sweeter, you could go with this. Or if you like something more spicy, then you know they know what they're talking about. But unfortunately, a lot of times you walk into a liquor store
and they're like, oh, check out this Bib and Tucker.
Right. They could be a really great, knowledgeable person about wine. But you walk in and they go over to the whiskey section. Right. So you got to be cautious.
I feel pretty good. My wine game's solid. I mean, you got the box wines.
Sure.
And then you've got the regular bottle wines.
Yeah.
And some are darker. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. I will say this about it.
Some are grapier.
There will be some retailers that are killer.
Right.
Killer.
Right.
We know a lot of them. There's some that I go into stores and I'm just listening to them interact with other customers, and I stay in my own place, but I'm like, that's not what.
But here's also why it's a mistake too. If you just blindly take their advice.
Right.
Because if you are getting into it, and say you do walk into a store like Red Dog here in Franklin or Elixir down in Spring Hill, and you walk in and that person is really into whiskey. And if they say, can I help you? What do you suggest? And they point to something, you're missing an opportunity to maybe make a connection and be like,
oh, right.
If you then engage them and have a conversation and they're really into it, they could be like, okay, all right, wait, we're going to go to the tasting bar. And like Tarak will keep you there all day.
Right.
You're going to try all these. You're going to find what you really like. That you could make a connection with a retailer that is passionate about their craft and what they do in their store and will share knowledge with you and actually help you grow in the passion as well. So it's a twofold mistake that you can make by just blindly taking the advice of a store clerk when they point to a whiskey. This is the final one.
Final finale. Finished. Finish it strong, Will.
So we're coming up on the holiday season.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 50th anniversary of Disney.
Nope.
Yeah,
That's already happened.
You love that, though.
Nope.
No, I'm just saying the 50th year. Like with the new castle and all that.
So we're coming up on the holiday season.
Yep.
What do you start seeing dropping in liquor stores and bottle shops everywhere?
Oh, like the allocations.
That's one thing. That's not a mistake. If you get something that's allocated for a retail price, you got a deal.
You go get it.
I'm talking about gift sets.
Oh,
now these are things that populate the fronts of stores around this time of year every year.
Yeah,
and it's
a good old window shopper go-to. If
you see a bottle of Maker's Mark with 2 dipped glasses, or you see a bottle of Buffalo Trace with a flask in it, or you see some Jim Beam with I don't know, like a lanyard for your keys. Every year they come out with a gift set that for mostly standard pours, and you feel like you're getting something. You feel like you're getting a bargain. If you're going in and trying to find something or explore whiskey and you're thinking that you're getting something for free with your bottle, like you're really getting a good deal, you're probably not, because those glasses are cheap. It's not the glassware you want to drink out of anyways. The flasks, if you're getting a flask, are very cheaply made and not quality, not something you're going to take fishing with you or something. So I feel like these are a mistake because they get bought up. And now the retailer is going to hate me for saying this because I'm sure this is a hot item. It's something clearly that goes to the stores. But that's not the best way to start growing in your passion or building your collection.
And it's also not great to buy those things if you know oh, man, my buddy loves Gentleman's Jack.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not a good idea to buy that with the gift set because, let me go ahead and tell you something. It's not a new concept.
Right.
There's going to be, he's already gotten 2 of them. If he has a known whiskey that he loves and it's a mass market whiskey on a big brand, let me go ahead and tell you something what he's already gotten. He's already gotten that gift set.
Right. Because it's a mistake we've all made.
We've all made it.
And you know what happens
Aunt
with those?
Sally going to make it and she's going to forget it next year,
Oh,
too.
yeah, and then she gets you another one.
She's going to get you another one, and you're going to have to start marking the dates on it.
Yeah, and you know what you end up with?
The years.
You end up with either a cabinet full of glasses you never use.
Right.
Or you throw them away.
Right.
So it's really not an added value. It's a good marketing thing for them. I'm certain they do well because it's not a new concept.
Yep.
Been around a long time.
Yep.
But it's just not something that you really want to feel like don't feel like you're getting something extra, something added value, unless it's like, if you want those dipped glasses and you're going to drink out of them all the time, you may be the special person.
Yeah, absolutely. But I will say this, for new whiskey drinkers, there's way better glasses out there for tasting.
Right.
There's better glasses out there for cocktails. Like, you're not getting like a specialized glass. You're literally getting a standard glass with a logo on it.
Right.
So just think about that. I would not buy that necessarily. I would probably just leave it on the shelf. And you know what? Go and get you that bottle that you really want.
Right.
And then maybe go get a glass that you really want.
Yeah.
Spread it out.
All right, folks, that is the 5 common mistakes that new bourbon drinkers make. We hope that we were able to help you out, maybe save you some heartache along the way. And we hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to stick around, subscribe, and give a thumbs up if you maybe learned something out of it. And you'll see some reviews of things you should buy in other videos. Thank you so much.
We love you. We love you, and we mean it. That's like a love you mean it. That's what I'm
Well, I mean, like, if you say you love,
I was trying to be more well-versed.
I was trying to be more. You should mean it. If not, you're a jerk.
We love you, and we mean it.
Yeah. I love you, and I don't.
No, he doesn't.
Don't mean it.